I'm Samantha Drugel.
And I'm Megan Kane. Welcome to the first Lotus Leaf Live broadcast of the school year here at the high school, where we'll be discussing the news every Friday.
This week we'll be delivering several important school announcements and talking with Dr. Everly in a brief Lotus Leaf Town Hall.
Today is Friday, September 10th, 2021, and this is Lotus Leaf Live.
Learning Commons staff are working hard to get students any remaining textbooks they may need. Remain patient as they try to get these to everybody. Staff are also working diligently to get students their IDs, but there are legal issues due to the new rules regarding students' pictures being printed. When we do get these IDs, students can be expected to have a suicide prevention number on them due to a new Michigan law signed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Staff would like to remind students that if they would like to park in the student lot, they need to purchase a parking pass for $15. Forms can be picked up and dropped off in the AP office.
Homecoming is right around the corner, with the football game against Bedford scheduled for Friday, October 1st, and the dance scheduled for Saturday, October 2nd. Today in TFT, seniors will nominate homecoming court candidates, and these nominees will be announced next week.
The first HOSA meeting for this year will be next Wednesday, September 15th at 2:15 in room D, 124. The club is for students interested in a future healthcare career.
Seniors will be able to submit materials for their senior square in the yearbook beginning next week. There will be a Google form posted in all senior TFT Google classrooms where the materials can be submitted.
The art club will have its first meeting next week on Thursday, September 16th. Everyone is welcome to check it out. The meeting will take place right after school in room A, 112, and will end at 3:30.
With the start of the school year, students and their families are left with endless questions. We met with Superintendent Dr. Julie Everly to answer some questions you may have and get the inside scoop on recent events in the district. Take a look. Good morning, Miss Everly. We are here to talk to you about different questions that we have about either COVID, about the new bond that passed, and about just different things in general that students have been asking us. I know we've been in school now for less than a week, but I know there are a lot of questions that students and staff are wanting to ask.
Great. I'm happy to be here with you.
But there are still a lot of people not comfortable coming back, especially with the different variants that are coming out. Has there been modifications made for those people?
That's a great question, and it's one that we've been getting more frequently in the last few weeks. So the virtual option remains open. We have several hundreds of students and their families who have, they just are not comfortable yet coming back to in-person learning, and so that virtual option is there for them. Our virtual school was in place prior to COVID, but certainly during COVID, as we move along, it's been of a great service to families who have that preference.
So the only option for students who don't want to come in person is Monroe Virtual, which is the same Monroe Virtual that we had in place before COVID.
That's correct, Sam.
Okay, great. And then moving on to quarantining, it wasn't necessarily an issue last year, it was just more of a thing last year. I know it was rumored that the people who are vaccinated do not have to quarantine this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, there actually just earlier today there was some additional special guidance released on the subject of quarantining, because it's one that you hear about for districts and schools who have been open, longer than us. They are already in the process of quarantining some students and staff. So there are special guidelines for quarantining that are released, and we will be following them. Quarantining does work differently than it did last year, so that's really important distinction. And vaccinated people under the guidelines are treated differently when it comes to quarantining than unvaccinated. And it's also important to note that when it comes to students in a school, masked students are different than unmasked students when it comes to quarantining. So, and that was, a really big consideration when we chose to make our district a masked district, was that we really feel like it will help us to cut down on the quarantining of students.
And I know as I've been back in school myself even, I've noticed like reminders and stuff to keep your mask on, and usually they keep them up. It's not a problem there. But what about people who refuse?
Yeah, so it is, mask wearing is a school rule. So just like other school rules, like when you think about cell phones or, rules that teachers make in the classrooms or, walking in the hallway, it's a school rule tied to safety. Yeah. So we would certainly work, like we do with all the other rules in our schools, we work with the students, usually things work out when teachers and principals and students work together, explain themselves, then everybody is in a much better place. If there would be an instance where a student wouldn't comply after everything has been discussed, then we would process that as a school rule violation.
My name's Emmy McLeod. I'm our social media chief editor. So we're going to get into the bond. So last year was when the bond was passed, of course, and we can see all the construction that was done on the building from the bond, especially in B-Wing, in the carpet. So what other changes specifically have happened that we might not see, or if you just want to go over the ones that have happened that we can see, just to list all of them?
So the work that was done to really get the new HVAC system in, and then all of those, all the duct work to go to those new areas, that's a multi-year project. So this year, B-Wing, you see what happened in B-Wing, that's going to happen all over the school. So B-Wing has new heating, and D actually as well. B and D have new heating and cooling, the lighting is all new. The ceiling is new. They have new technology. It's going to be, rather than a pull-down screen like the ones we're accustomed to seeing, they're going to be bigger monitors, almost looking like a TV, mounted to the wall, so much clearer picture for students, great instructional capabilities for the teacher. Along with that, all of the infrastructure was put in because we'll be getting new safety systems here at Monroe High School and a new PA system. So eventually the bells are even going to sound a little bit different and everything. So Custer 2 and Riverside were very much the same type of work, but because they're smaller buildings, it was a smaller scope of work.
I am co-chief editor as well, in charge of the print aspect of Lotus Leaf. So I'm just going to ask you some general questions, some stuff that they talked about, but all right, I'll just get started. So obviously everywhere there's a ton of staffing issues, mostly due to COVID. You look around town, you see everywhere short-staffed. I know that here it seems like we're short maybe on bus drivers, lunch workers, even teachers. Is this worse since the pandemic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are noticing similar to what other employers in the community are noticing, that we do have some open positions. Some of the staffing shortages that were identified in the spring, because we're always trying to work ahead and think ahead, we've been very fortunate to make great progress in those. So I can't say it, but let's take bus drivers, for instance. There's a shortage of bus drivers throughout our country. Yes. And we quickly in the spring enlisted some supportive partners from METS along with our transportation office and worked together. METS is a contracted bus driving agency, and so they helped us to advertise for our openings. We had several job fairs over the summer, and we do have bus drivers drivers for every route in Monroe Public Schools now, and we have a couple of substitutes bus drivers as well. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything is solved, but it is, at least in a very solid place to begin the school year. And I think that you're seeing the same thing in other areas, all the way up to and including teachers. We do have a few positions that we're still trying to fill, that we've had to make some accommodations for, but not nearly the number of positions that some of our other districts in the state have.
Fall is back, and with it, fall sports. We will be visiting home games and meets, catch footage of your favorite teams, and bring you scores as they come. For now, in this week's Sports Update. The varsity cross-country team competes in Erie Mason relays this past Tuesday. The boys team placed third and the girls team placed fifth. Girls varsity golf had a home match yesterday. They had a match this upcoming Monday at Bedford High School. Boys varsity soccer has a home game versus Pioneer tomorrow at 10 a.m.
This past Friday, Monroe varsity football won its second game of the season against Lincoln High School 28-21. Their third game is tonight at 7 p.m. and the theme is USA to honor first responders. That's all on MHS Sports. Join us next week for more updates and highlights from tonight's football game.
After a whole summer without Lotus Leaf Live, to keep you up to date on current events, Drake Carr is here to fill you in on some things you might have missed. Take it away, Drake.
Hi, I'm Drake Carr, and welcome back to Lotus Leaf Live. Over the summer, there has been so many major events have occurred since our last broadcast. To start off, we have COVID updates. Since our last broadcast, the Pfizer vaccine has been approved by the FDA for people 16 and up to safely take. And the Delta variant has been spreading rapidly through the U.S., now becoming the predominant version of COVID-19. On to more controversial topics. The controversial Texas anti-abortion heartbeat bill became a law, banning the abortion procedure after 6 weeks of pregnancy. All U.S. troops were withdrawn from Afghanistan, meeting the August 31st deadline, ending a 20-year war. On a much more happier note, there was multiple major album releases during the summertime. Some of those releases being Planet Her by Doja Cat, Solar Power by Lorde, Donda by Kanye West, Certified Lover Boy by Drake, and Dawn of Chromatica by Lady Gaga. Over the summertime, there was multiple natural disasters that have occurred. Wildfires have been spreading all over California, causing mass destruction in wooded and urbanized areas. Hurricane Ida raged across the northeastern side of the United States. There has been 86 confirmed deaths at the moment as the cleanup begins. Areas like New York and New Jersey has been experiencing the aftermath of Ida as catastrophic floods affect the states. And last of all, a tornado formed in Monroe, causing damage and power outages all over the town. The 2021 Olympic Games was hosted in Tokyo during this summer. Simone Biles withdrew during the Olympics during the finals to focus on her mental health, but returned to do the balance beam for the last event. In the end, the USA won 14 gold medals, and things like basketball, fencing, surfing, shooting, swimming, and taekwondo. I hope we all had a great beginning of the year. This is Drake Carr signing out.
That's all we have for you today. Join us next week when we introduce you to the Lotus Leaf staff.
We will continue to keep our social media website updated during these fast-changing times. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media at Lotus Leaf Live. You can read the full stories and more on our website, lotusleaflive.com. I'm Samantha Drugel.
And I'm Megan Kane. We hope everyone is staying safe, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for watching.